because we knew the difficulty of the match. We knew obviously the other results, and it was a crucial win against a really good side.
Yeah, we talked pre-match about the way you're beating sides that you dropped points against last season. What was the difference again today?
Today we were clinical. I think defensively we were excellent, and when we struggled to find ways to really generate big chances against them, because nobody really generates big chances against them the way they are set up, we find again a way to score a goal and another clean sheet, which is very important as well.
Just how key is this defensive record to what you are trying to do this season?
Well, very important. You see the difficulty of every match in the Premier League. You see the other results, and to beat any opponent in this league, it's an absolute nightmare. You have to be so good on the day to do it, and if you can keep a clean sheet, obviously, it helps a lot.
Second half saw a raft of changes across the 45. It did start with Saliba, though. I just wondered if you could clear up what's happened there with him.
Yeah, we had to get him out. He was feeling some pain. We have to review how he is, but he wasn't good to continue. With Declan, it was the same. Ricky was the same. So we had a few changes that we had to make in relation to some discomforts.
Would you say more precautionary at this stage?
Some of them no, because they could not continue. So let's see. I fully agree with you. I just thought to the boys that probably I value more this victory than any other victory this season, because we knew the difficulty of it. You come after playing every 3 days. You have a big opportunity as well with the things that happened during this weekend. And I knew, we play against a team that, in my opinion, has been one of the best recently in terms of organization, how difficult they made it, how frustrated they can make you, and the moment that you lose that concentration, they will punish you for sure. And we have managed to be very stable, playing the game that we have to play. In the first half, a bit stuck. We find a way to score the goal. In the second one, we attacked better and we were more fluent. But with 1-0, we knew that we had to suffer, because it's a team that has scored goals to any other opponent this season. So to keep the clean sheet again was very, very important.
James, CBS.
Mikel, you said on Friday you want the crowd to play the game with you. I don't know if you saw the moment in the 95th moment where the ball flew back in from the crowd. You must be appreciating that to slow down the long train.
There were a few moments, and when I describing that is so Ricky goes in the floor and puts a tackle, Julian the same, the way Victor was chasing every second ball. Some individual actions on the ball as well that I think we are getting better again, and the crowd is playing now the game with us, and it makes such a difference. So yeah, thanks to them.
You mentioned the first half the team were a bit stuck. Would you say that's down to Palace being good?
Big credit to them, because you try to do something, they can adjust it. The way they are set up, they don't jump to things, they don't get attracted to things. The two outside players in the back line, they are really aggressive, so it's really difficult to find those spaces. And then, the moment they regain the ball, they have a focal point on Mateta, two runners, and you have to be very disciplined, because the moment that you lose that on top of the two wing-backs running, you can get very, very exposed. So, I said to the boys, it's going to be a long match. We have to be really stable emotionally, very direct when we have the opportunities to attack them, and we're going to have to take our chances because it's not going to be that many.
And just injury-wise, how's Declan?
Yeah, well, the first one was Willie, that obviously had to be out after the first half. Declan as well was struggling from the first half with a knock that he took. And who was the other one? Ricky as well. So, let's see how they recover.
Congratulations on another win. Just how hard have you had to work for that one today?
Very hard, but we're really pleased with the win. Another clean sheet again. So, we need to keep going.
Yeah, lots to be proud of at both ends of the pitch. How patient did you have to be, particularly in that first half, with the way that Palace were able to keep you out for really half an hour until your first opportunity?
Yeah, indeed. I think lately it has been like that. We just need to keep patient throughout the whole game, because we can score any time. But they try to adapt to us as well, and that's what we did today. We created some more chances in the second half. It would be nice if we would have put the game to bed, but we battled until the end, and those are sweet as well.
The breakthrough coming from a set piece again, it feels as if there's a tension in the Emirates now in dead ball situations, certainly in the crowd. Do you feel it as players on the pitch, that expectation?
Yeah, a little bit, but we are excited as well. When we get a set piece, we know we can score, so it's an opportunity for us to get a goal. So we work a lot on it, and it pays off.
It's another game today where you've managed to get 3 points against opposition, which previously you've dropped points in title seasons. What's the difference? How are you seeing these games out now?
It's hard to put a finger on it, but I think every year you just learn more and more, and this year we're so strong, especially defensively as well. The whole team works really hard, and then on the other hand we put the game to bed, whether it's a set piece or an open play goal, doesn't matter to us. We just want to win games, and it's another win.
Does it feel like you're laying the foundations for something pretty special here this year?
Yeah, let's hope. We want to win every game, and we approach every game the same way, so that's how we need to continue.
All right, congratulations, well done today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Win of the season. And they weren't probably at their best today, Arsenal. They didn't have a shot on goal until the 33rd minute. The goal that came on the 39th minute was once again from a set piece. I suppose there should be no surprise that when they're finding it difficult to create chances, they are able to rely on that.
Yes, as we know, don't be giving away silly free kicks. If you come up against Arsenal, we know the delivery is fantastic. And in Gabriel, they've got someone who's really special at getting his head on it. But we just wanted to take it to the start of it in terms of, as I said, a really silly foul on Saka. I think it's from Pino. You don't need to make the challenge there. He's going away from goal. He's about to pass the ball back. And then the delivery from Declan Rice is fantastic. They've got 4 giants at the back post. But again, it's Gabriel at the back post. I'm not sure he gets the assist, but he does enough to make it difficult for Sars. He doesn't get a great clearance away, but that is what you call a fantastic finish.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Acrobatic. Yeah. Just what we saw him so often at Selhurst Park.
Yeah. Listen, he didn't have his best game today. It might have been a little bit difficult for him, certainly mentally, coming up against his former opponents, but his former
team. Yeah,
former
absolutely. So the 16th goal of the season, which has them ranked 4th, and you see they have 9 set-piece goals, the most of any team in the Premier League. But they are 17th when it comes to open play goals, with an XG of 7.8, which is the 8th best in the Premier League. So if we're being really picky, we might say, for a team that's top of the league, we would expect them to be better at creating chances from open play. Percentage of goals from open play is the lowest in the league, and their percentage of XG from open play is the second lowest. Is this a continuing theme? This is something really I think you were talking about last season as well with Arsenal.
It's not a problem when you're top of the league. There's no doubt about that. They are pretty special. And where the Premier League is right now, this season, it feels like we're going to be talking about set pieces a lot every weekend, a lot on Monday Night Football. And there is no team better in the league. So it's a prime to go on and win the Premier League if that's where the league is going. I mentioned my own team in terms of Liverpool. They don't seem to be able to cope. This team has been built to cope in situations like this, in terms of the back four, the height of the team, the power that they get. And for a long time, I've said Mikel Arteta is trying to win the Premier League like a Jose Mourinho team, or, as we saw in the stands today, a George Graham Arsenal team.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. The most important thing is winning. And right now, they're looking in a great position, certainly after the weekend results, to go on and win the Premier League.
And those teams, George Graham's team, Jose Mourinho's team, built on such strong defenses. And this is what we're saying about Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. 0.33 goals per game they are conceding. Well, it's 3 from 9. So that's the best in the league. 8 shots per game, which is top. Only 2.1 on target per game. And they are restricting their opponents with those shots to really tiny chances. That is the XG per shot faced, 0.07 on average chance of scoring effectively with those shots. And 6 clean sheets, another today. How crucial to all of this, we could talk about him at both ends of the pitch, is Gabriel, Jamie?
He is. I think he's now the real leader in this team. I think Saliba's a fantastic player. I always felt Gabriel was maybe the junior partner, if you like. I think that's changed for me now. I think he's the Colossus at the back. He's the leader for that team. He talks. He keeps Saliba in check at times in games. We've just seen him defensively. But going forward at the other end, we've seen him on the goal. We've seen him hit the crossbar there as well. And on the next set piece as well, he probably should score. He'd be disappointed that he doesn't. And this happens every game. So he's the best defender in the team that's got the best defensive numbers. and he's the best attacker in terms of set pieces going forward at the other end. And that's why, for me, right now, I think Gabriel is the most influential player in the Premier League. And I think if Arsenal are to go on and win the Premier League, and I know it's early, I know that, I think he could be on course to go and win the PFA Player of the Year or the Player of the Year from the football rights, because right now there's nobody more influential for Arsenal Football Club.
Big call. Not many defenders do that. Not many central defenders. Paul McGrath, John Terry and Virgil van Dijk. You think that Gabriel could be part of this illustrious company?
I think if Arsenal go on and win the league right now, I think he's the number one contender. I look at those other three players, great players, all leaders for their clubs, like Gabriel is. Actually, John Terry's the only one to win the Premier League in the year he won the PFA Player of the Year. But when you actually look at John Terry and Virgil van Dijk's role, look at the goals. They're not just big leaders at the back. The numbers of goals they get, and his record is actually far better than theirs when you look at those numbers.
How significant do you think this victory is for Arsenal, coming as it does after Liverpool have lost for the fourth successive game? As questions are being asked about them, they're playing another team in another game which they dropped points last season and they get over the line.
Well, that's the big difference to last season. Whenever Liverpool dropped points, Arsenal didn't capitalise. And we highlighted that, I think, on Monday Night Football last week, that Arsenal won a game when Liverpool lost, and they've done exactly the same again right now. So they're in a great position. The only thing for Arsenal and the supporters, because they want the Premier League so much, because it's been so long for them, it almost feels such a long wait until May. You know, there's a long way to go in the Premier League. Things can go wrong. But right now, again, I reiterate it, the way the Premier League is this season in terms of long throws, set pieces, direct play, Arsenal are the best equipped team to deal with that.
A massive win. Obviously, we knew the difficulty of it, and consistently to win. It's very, very difficult. Big credit to Palace as well, the way they are set up, the way they are organised, individually, how they fulfil the roles. It makes it really, really difficult for us. We knew that. We know that the longer the game went, probably the game will open up a little bit more. We find a way to score a goal against that really well organised in terms of bodies and behaviours in the box, and after that, the second half it was more open. We're a bit more fluent. We had some openings. We didn't score the second one, and when you've done that against that team, you are in danger, because they score in every goal in the Premier League till today. So we knew that the clean sheet it was going to be difficult, but we have managed to do it.
Yeah, you've kept clean sheets for fun this season, but how satisfying is it to do it against the Palace side, who have been scoring lots of goals and creating lots of chances? What was the key to that today?
Well, the level of concentration and focusing a lot on defensive habits. It's a team that in 2 passes they're in front of goal. So the further the ball is, the more dangerous they are. And you have to recognise that. But it's easier to say it with the video and doing that rather than do it on the pitch. And you could see the moments that they could open you up a little bit and have a space to run. They are super difficult size set pieces. They are incredibly strong as well, from long throws, from corners. And we have restricted them to very, very little.
The winning goal, a moment of quality from Roberto Eze's first Premier League goal for you. Was it written in the stars it would be against his old team?
Probably as well, and the way he celebrated as well. The technique is unbelievable. It's a really difficult ball to make the contact that he's done with that quality. But we needed something against a team that is so well organised. Chaotic moments are very important. We find a way to score and win the game.
And you're showing the consistency that some of the regular title contenders aren't right now.
Yeah, but it's very early in October. We know how difficult it is. I mean, we suffer every week to win football matches in this league, and you see the results every single week. So, yeah, it's going to be a long run. Let's try to recover now very well for Wednesday, different competition. We had some issues as well with some players today, and go back again.
Just finally, though, consistency is one thing that you need to have. Belief is another. Is belief high right now, given the way things are going?
Yes, especially winning helps, and winning and competing the way we are competing. Obviously, the emotional state is really high, but a lot of things to improve and get better.
If you want to compete and want to fight for the titles, you have to win these kind of games. And we know how tough it can be. Last year we lost points against Palace, and I think everyone's seen as well. It wasn't an easy game, but everyone knows how hard it is to win Premier League games. So very important, and I think. The team showed character, which something to be proud of.
Looking at the defensive record, another clean sheet for you. How satisfying is that, considering that Palace have been right up there when it comes to creating chances this season.
Yeah, it's a foundation. You know, the most important thing is the 3 points. If that comes with a clean sheet, it is amazing. But it says a lot about how hard we fight and how well we defend together. So again, it's a good thing. Loads of things to do better still. I think if you look at today's game, a lot of things to take, but also a lot of good things to take away, and just keep improving game by game, day by day, and yeah.
Yes, Yuri and Timber, part of that back line that have now kept 10 clean sheets in 13 games in all competitions, and they've still conceded just 3 goals all season. I mean, what a foundation Arsenal are having to go and win football matches.
Yeah, they can cope with injuries, to centre-backs. Gabriel and Saliba, for me, are the 2 best centre-back partnerships in the league. He's picked up an injury again today, Saliba. I think he's nursing an injury, so perhaps they didn't want to take any risks with him. Mascara can come in and take his place. Calafiori, we know, across the back line, can play in there. Lewis Skelly is cover there for that position. And we've got Julian Timber, who, in my opinion, is the best fullback in the league. I think he can do everything. He's a top-draw player. And Ben White, who's an international footballer, if he chooses to be, and he can't even get a game at the moment. So the midfield, they've got a load of options. Odegaard in recent years, if he would have been missing, we'd say, well, there's panic stations, how are we going to create? Now they've got, Madueke out on the side, who's injured at the moment.
Havertz is out.
You've got Saka, who's playing as a little superstar. Kukure's, who's just finding his way playing for Arsenal. They've got everything. You look at the challenges at the moment. If it's Man City, if they was to lose Erling Haaland, I think we would all agree that their challenge is over. And even though he's not playing well, if Virgil van Dijk dropped out at the moment with the cover they have, Liverpool, at that position, their challenge is over. So for me, it's Arsenal's to lose. I think they've got it 2 hands on it at the moment, I would suggest. They just need, unless there's an epidemic again and they lose load of players, they will win the league. There's no doubt about that. They've had the upset of not being able to get over the line and being so close. They've had that experience. I think they will go one step further, Steve. I really do.
I mean, it's very early days, as Mikel Arteta says, in October, but we've seen the standard of the league in the last few seasons, and if you do get a big lead, some clubs find it difficult to get that back.
Yeah, and everyone would rather have the points in the bag rather than trying to chase later on. But just listening to the noises up till this point this season, and even listening to the interviews, they know the significance of every single game and every single point that's available. They're talking about last season when they drew in a couple of games and let points slip away from them. And even though they were playing really well last season, if you don't get all 3 points on offer, suddenly, 5 or 6 games later, you've slipped too far behind to compete. You're out of the title race. Whereas this season, they know the significance of every single point of every single game. Every single opportunity that they've got, they're trying to make sure they take, regardless of them playing well or not, because we all know, they know, you're not going to play well in every single game during the season, but we can still take all the points. And I just feel there's the right noises coming out of Arsenal this season, the understanding of what they're going to need to do to take that title.
I think they're measured as well in the pursuit of 3 points. If they decide that it's not on, they'll take what's on offer. Whereas Liverpool at the moment, I think they're going, stretching themselves to get 3 points and opening the door at the other end. I think they're more savvy with it at the moment. I really do. I think they've got enough experience in there, certainly enough guile, and the diligence what they're using on the training field, 3 hours a week to practice their set pieces is an incredible amount of time, but it's certainly worth it.
And we mentioned the clean sheet record there. When you look at the defensive stats at the moment, they're topping everything. Look at that. As I just said to Tim, what a foundation to win games that is.
Absolutely. And, that's not just the 2 centre-backs or the back 4 and the goalkeeper. That's across the entire team. They know they have to work as a team to get those kind of results and statistics. They can't just leave their back 4 to it. The 2 holding midfielders, I think, are outstanding in protecting the defensive line behind it. And if you do that, then 1 goal is enough to win football matches. And they know they've got the quality within their team that somebody can score out of nothing. They can score set pieces. Somebody will sprinkle a bit of magic on the game and they will get a goal. And then they win football matches because they're working so hard to keep clean sheets.
And they don't care what teams come and how they come and play against them. If team want to have a fight against them, they're big and strong enough to have that. They don't care. They don't care if anyone launching long throws in. We heard Arne Slot recently saying, well, teams come with a low block, they're playing direct football, they're taking long throws as if it's a crime. It's not a crime. And Mikel's telling these boys, you know, no matter what we're up against, we can deal with it. And I think they've got the experience enough to be able to do that now.
They're making 3 goals. Look, they've got another 29 games to play. The record's 15, that Jose Mourinho Chelsea team. The way they're going, they're on course to get close to that, aren't they?
They are. They're on track, and looking at them from the outside, they don't look like they're going to take away any of the organisation. They know exactly what's expected of them. They are having to make changes across the back line. They're not just completely settled, and yet everybody is up to the standard that is set. And Mosquera's come in and been terrific. And they seem proud by results and clean sheets. They're proud to keep the opposition out. You saw Timber talking about Crystal Palace and knowing they create chances in, but as a team, we know how hard we have to work to stop them, and they enjoy keeping clean sheets. You know, years gone by, I think we went through a stage where Arsenal only enjoyed scoring 4 and 5 and 6. Now they enjoy keeping clean sheets, and that's a great mentality to have throughout the team, and it's the kind that brings success.
And we know the numbers on corners and set plays, and that's 11 already this season from set plays. I mean, the amount of time they spend on the training ground doing that, and they're way ahead of any other team in those numbers.
That's why they do it. If they wasn't scoring goals, they were spending that amount of time on them, the players would get bored and talk to the manager and say, hey, come on. But when they're seeing the rewards on the weekend or in the midweek games, and they're seeing they're winning games because of their set piece, because of the due diligence what they're doing on the opposition, and the diligence of what they're putting into their own set pieces, the delivery is unbelievable. I mean, Declan Rice, you would think you want him in the middle of the box, you know, to finish it. I remember England once playing Harry Kane on taking free kicks and corners because he was the best at it. It's all about delivery. If the delivery is not right, it all falls down. But you've got Saka on one side, Odegaard when he plays, and Declan Rice. They put it on the button and they attack it for their lives. The movement's good, the timing's great, and you know, it's winning them games. And if they're not playing well, if they're playing well, they just open teams up with their passing, their movement, their pace. They've got everything.
And that's placing a seed of doubt in the opposition, isn't it, with those numbers? Because they're all trying to stop it. They're spending the week leading up to the game trying to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having to go into a game against Arsenal with the talent that Arsenal have, and most of your time is actually taken by having to defend set pieces rather than how the spaces Eze might be in or where Saka's going to come at you, then, you know, they're attacking teams on all fronts. They're stretching opposition managers across the board on anything that the game offers, whether it be attack or defensive. I mean, even opposition teams are now not only worried about how to keep Arsenal out, they're now having to find a way of scoring goals because the straightforward way Arsenal are finding very easy to stop teams scoring. So now you're having to think of a new way of stretching Arsenal defensively. And, you know, the amount of work that must go into playing against Arsenal at the moment from opposition management teams must be incredible.
And the experience of managing these games compared to the last few seasons, with the additions that you've pointed out, the depth they have, how much difference do you think ultimately that will make?
I think it stands them in fantastic stead for the season. That experience of missing out before, that experience of the manager not being able to rotate his players, you know, having to play the superstar. Saka's a good example of that. Now he's playing at the moment. We've got Wanyeri we had not even mentioned, Kai Havertz, who needs to come back into that squad. Picking up injuries. These boys are world-class players who can come into the Noddy Mweki. They can rotate now, but he's learned when to do it. He doesn't do it recklessly. He doesn't change for changing's sake. He changes when he needs to, and then he perhaps different competition, then he drops and changes the team. But I think there's about 4 or 5 of them who are guaranteed to play in the Premier League. You don't want to make reckless decisions at the moment. There's no need to. They're nice and fit. They're up to speed. They look strong, so play them. Later on in the season, if he's resting some, he keeps them happy because his man management skills are good. Everyone's happy. They all feel part of it at the moment. Even Lewis Kelly and the young boys, Wanyeri's, you would think, perhaps they're not getting enough game time. Mikel is managing that behind the scenes. He's talking to them, telling them there's enough football matches. They're in all competitions. They will play their part. And I think he's married them all in very, very well. And it only bodes well for the season. For me, they got their hands on it.
Not great. That is an understatement when you look at that. 4 straight league defeats to Palace, Chelsea, Manchester United and Brentford. 3 of them, albeit away from home. And Arne Slot also said, Tim, after the game, that teams have found a way to play against us and we have to come up with solutions to that.
Not kidding. Yeah, they have, and it's not to play out around their penalty box with the aggressive press of Liverpool and giving them the ball in the final third so they can score easy goals. What does he expect? That's what teams are going to come up against them now. They're going to play longer. They're going to play over the top of the press. They're going to put their defenders under pressure. The two new fullbacks, Carragher and Frimpong, I know he's not playing at the moment. They haven't settled. They really haven't settled. Konate and Van Dijk have not been great. So why do you not play to their weakness? Their weakness is obviously the defending players at the moment. So get the ball forward as quickly as you can. And they're playing a decent high line. And when you've got pace like Brentford have on the counter-attack, they caught them out time and time again. You're not... These teams, honestly, if you ask him what he wants a team to come and play, build out from the back, try and play through the press, play into the hands of Liverpool. Aggressive, Szoboszlai going in, Gakpo, nice and aggressive with their press, timing it right, setting traps, winning the ball. Then they haven't got far to go before they put the ball in the back of your net. Why would you do that against Liverpool? So now they've found a way, but they need to find a way how to counteract that. They need to find a way when people want to play direct against them, when they want to play and throw long balls into your box. The defending was so poor. They got to get ahead on the first ball. Now, they said they expected it. It didn't look like they expected it because they'd caught them out.
And they need to find a way of keeping the clean sheet. I mean, Liverpool, incredibly, 2 in 19 games in all competitions.
Yeah, very, very surprising because, as I said, that was a real strength of Liverpool, keeping clean sheets. 2 centre-halves were very dominant. But... you know, they're not. Tim just mentioned it. They're not winning enough first ball into the penalty area. They lose the first ball, then they lose the second ball. Inevitably, they're going to concede goals. I have expected a lot more from Liverpool. I think one of the things that surprised me is how vocal Arne Slot is about his weaknesses of his team.
Yeah.
He keeps telling everybody what his weaknesses are going into the next game. And you know, I mean, I'm sure at that level everybody can see it, and they will try and attack Liverpool in that way, but. I'd expect him to try and play down their weaknesses and try and make his team feel like they can do it. He's telling his own team that we're weak in this area, and that'll just spread throughout the team. They'll start to believe they're weak themselves until they fix the problem.
Absolutely. Managers play mind games, but I can't understand the logic of what Arne Slot's saying. You hear time and time again Pep Guardiola talking about the opposition manager before on the pre-match press conference saying, I love the way he plays the right way, he plays out from the back. Of course he's saying that because he wants them to play that way so he can go and nick the ball off them. Now, he's thinking about what he's saying. I'm not sure the logic of what Arne Slot's saying because basically he's giving them a pat on the back and saying, yeah, you're beating us at something we can't handle at the moment. Look, it's been a difficult summer for them. We know. You know, they've lost one of their friends. Jota's been a massive player for them. We don't know how that reacts into the dressing room. I was fortunate enough never to have that upset. They have to build now and they have to get on with it. They have to get on with how they are playing. And at the moment, they're not playing to the standard of what they're going. They had the Isak problem. You know, he's not fit. You know, he dragged it out. He never trained. Looks like he can't play 2 games in a week. He's picked up an injury now. Mo Salah has to get back to his best. He's got a magnificent goal late on there. You can understand why they're not fluid. I thought they played a lot worse than 1 games early on in the season. You know, when they 6 games was it without getting beat. But I think now they need to just don't panic. You're still in it with wonderful players, but I think they've got a problem.
Because, you're saying don't panic, 4 weeks ago, they were 5 points clear of Arsenal. And the discussion amongst Arsenal fans was, well, we're concerned about Liverpool getting out of sight here. What a turnaround.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that stretch, we were talking about Liverpool, how good it was that they were winning games without playing well. And they are bound to start playing well at some point, and they will become the team that we all expected them to become. But it went the other way, and actually they started to get found out. Those late winning goals started to disappear. They started to be hurt. And at the moment, yeah, Arsenal went from wondering how we keep up with a team like Liverpool to, at the way Liverpool are going, they won't even be in the conversation in a month's time if they keep on losing football matches. Arsenal will be too far ahead, and then Arsenal are looking around to see who else that are going to be in the chase and pack. Liverpool are still very capable of competing for the title at this point. But as I spoke about Arsenal before, if they let too many results get away from them and they allow that gap to become too big, the chase will be too much for them.